ESG Landscape for UK businesses. Let's start with a reality check about where we are in 2025. ESG is no longer a nice to have. It has rapidly become essential for UK businesses of all sizes, and the pace of change has been absolutely staggering. According to research from Compliance and Risks, the volume of ESG reporting regulations has grown by an astonishing 552% since 2021. Let me put that in perspective. There's more than a five-fold increase in just 4 years. If you feel like ESG requirements are coming at you faster than ever before, you're absolutely right, they are. So what's driving this explosion? There are 4 main forces at work here. First, the government policy. The UK government has committed to reaching net zero by 2050, and they're using regulation to push businesses in that direction. Second, investor pressure. Whether you're looking to raise capital, sell your business, or even just maintain your banking relationships, investors and lenders are increasingly asking detailed questions about your ESG performance. Third, consumer expectations. Your supply chain is now making purchasing decisions based on an ever greater weighting of sustainability credentials. And your consumers are, especially younger buyers, making decisions based on an expectation of aligned values. And fourth, the climate crisis itself. The negative impacts of social and climate change are becoming impossible to ignore, and businesses are being forced to respond. Now, let's get specific about what that means for UK business. There's a growing list of regulations you may need to comply with, and the consequence of non-compliance are serious. Let's start with the Modern Slavery Act. If your business has a turnover of over 36 million, you're required to publish an annual statement detailing the steps you've taken to ensure there's no modern slavery in your business or supply chain. This isn't optional, and if you don't comply, you can be publicly named, which can devastate your reputation and your ability to win contracts. Then there's the gender pay gap reporting. If you have 250 or more employees, you must publish annual data on the pay gap between male and female employees. Again, this is public information and it matters. Companies with poor gender pay gaps are finding it harder to attract top talent. SECR, Streamlined Energy and Carbon Reporting, affects hundreds of thousands of UK companies. If you're a quoted company, a large unquoted company, or a large LLP, you need to report on your energy use and carbon emissions in your director's report. This is where many mid-market companies first encounter mandatory ESG reporting. SECR will be relevant if you meet at least 2 of the 3 criteria. 1. Annual turnover over 36 million. 2. Annual balance sheet over 18 million. 3. Over 250 employees. ESOS, the Energy Savings Opportunity Scheme, relevant if you have 250 or more employees, or both an annual turnover greater than 44 million and an annual balance sheet greater than 38 million, requires large UK undertakings to carry out comprehensive assessments of energy use and identify cost-effective energy-saving measures every 4 years. And there are more on the horizon. Simpler recycling regulations are coming into force, requiring businesses to separate recyclable waste. The plastics tax charges businesses over £200 per tonne for plastic packaging that doesn't contain at least 30% recycled content. WEEE regulations govern how you dispose of electrical equipment. Check out our comprehensive checklist to get started on tracking some of these legislations. But here's the one that catches a lot of businesses off guard: greenwashing enforcement by the Competition and Markets Authority. The CMA has the power to fine companies up to a maximum of 10% of their global turnover for making misleading environmental claims. That's not a typo, 10% of global turnover. So if you're advertising your products as eco-friendly, carbon neutral, or sustainable, you better have the data to back it up. Now, I know this all sounds quite daunting, but here's where the conversation shifts from compliance to opportunity. A study by Sweep and Capgemini Invent found that 76% of businesses now treat sustainability as a means of gaining a competitive advantage. They're not being sustainable just because they have to. They're doing it because it's good for business. Let me give you some concrete examples of how this plays out. In procurement, major UK corporates are increasingly requiring their suppliers to demonstrate ESG credentials just to be considered for contracts. If you can't show that you're managing your environmental and social impact, you're simply not getting through the door. We've seen this firsthand with clients who've been asked to complete detailed ESG questionnaires as part of their tender processes. In talent acquisition and retention, ESG is becoming a major differentiator. Research shows that 73% of graduates consider a company's environmental and social credentials when choosing an employer. If you're competing for the best talent, your ESG performance matters. And it's not just about recruitment. Companies with strong ESG programs report higher employer engagement and lower turnover. For businesses looking to raise capital or sell, ESG is now a standard part of due diligence. Private equity firms are screening for ESG risks and opportunities. Banks are offering better terms for sustainability loans. And when it comes to exit, buyers are paying premium multiples for companies with strong ESG credentials. And then there's operational efficiency. Many businesses discover that their ESG initiatives, things like energy efficiency, waste reduction, and supply chain optimization, actually save them money. One of our clients reduced their energy costs by 22% in the first year of their ESG program, which more than paid for the entire initiative. So here's the bottom line. The question is no longer, do we have to do ESG? The question is, how can we use ESG reporting to strengthen our business, win more customers, attract better talent, and position ourselves for long-term success? And that's exactly what this course is going to help you do. We're going to show you how to navigate the compliance requirements efficiently and, more importantly, how to turn ESG reporting into a genuine competitive advantage for your business. In the next module, we're going to start with the first critical step, figuring out where you are right now, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by what you discover.